her intuitive sense of symbology movements, as evidence here, in an attractive but unsupported recognition of the shape of a lyre representing Apollo, the Greek deity, in the sense of a canvas stem. And Miller's hypothesis upon increasingly esoteric hypothesis. And here, in her detection of significant relationships between rectangular panels with dimensions that form into a Pythagorean ratio in both acids, this ability to unite specific groups of currents with corresponding panels limiting particular spiral elements in the ends leave alone. She ultimately arrives at an elaborately complex interpretation that attempts to synthesize various vectors of sight or read the imagery with botanical symbolism in order to convey her vision of the Augustan narrative. Unsupported by citation of parallels and unencumbered by documentation sources, Henning's argument has won few followers and has been roundly criticized for its idiosyncrasies and excesses. As a result, though not yet a decade old, the work seems in danger already of swinging into obscurity among the growing table volumes and is by the way recorders to be superb. That I think would be a shame. When some professional botanists have questioned the certainty of some of her identifications, the first part of the book, the botanical alphabet, is generally agreed to provide an expert guide to the representation of plants on the monument and its found basis on which to begin reconstructing their potential symbolic import. Of particular relevance to our topic this afternoon are Teneda's identification among the representations of what she calls vegetation chimeras, hybrid creations that combine in an unnatural way isolated elements of real plants, or even more strikingly, plants that resemble animals, or vice versa, creating a floral and fauval conjoint effect. And here, where in the upper detail, a lizard seems to grow like the stem of a canthus, or below, where the flower of a fruit plant blooms incongruously out of the native body, both replicating a mirror in the swan depicting a parallel position on the opposite panel. Elsewhere, Teneda discerns a temporal progression in the depiction of different stages of the vegetative cycle of a single species. As in the upper image here, where distinct phases of the growth of an acanthus flower are shown, or below, where a process of continual ongoing metamorphosis seems to be represented. These observations make clear that whenever one takes the overall method of development, the vegetable generation of the lower species, like that of the temple macro, or for that matter, the domestic garden of the electric or ortho, all of these works produced during the last 2 decades of the first century BCE, at the height of the Augustan era. This seems clear that all 3 of these is a fantasy landscape. And some of the fantasy representations could be found in public aspect as well as viewer effect, suggest that their meanings vary according to context. The generation of the Autopogus evidently evokes the prosperity lessons of the Augustan peace, whereas that of the Super Patro more probably represents an idyllic afterlife. In other words, the conceit itself was flexible and polyvalent. More generally, Teneda's analysis goes far towards demonstrating that Romans of the early Imperial era were conversing with a lexicon and a grammar of plants used for linguistic analysis based upon various morphological and physical associations that enabled them to read the botanical meaning with the same attention to nuance as they would approach a verbal description of a work of art, literary exercise. With this level of high literary art, perhaps equal to recognize botanical symbolism outlined by Teneda, folklorism, popular tradition, and various cultural practice provided a more primitive set of basic botanical associations for most before their Romans. In the matter of mortuary ritual, for example, a number of literary sources inform us about the associations with the tree, which seems to provide whether it's folk medicine, botanical observation, practical experience, and mythological reflection. Even the elder has little use for the plant, which he characterizes as, quote, an exotic, foreign or not later, and among most difficult trees to grow. Start the plant, useless for fruit, would vary the cause of angry face, a bitter leaf, and a punch of smell. Not even a shade is pleasant, and its wood is sparse, so that it almost belongs to the class of shrubs. He then has it broadly as if it represented the technical property of the plant. It is consecrated to peace, the god of the underworld, and so is placed near houses as a funeral sign. Surely Zoroaster's was more centric policy toward Virgil, who remains our best source for many features of Roman funeral ritual, supplies further details and adequately a better story for an alternative explanation based on practical considerations. The cypress appears in 2 groups, either because when cut, it does not sprout again, or because through it, a house in a funerary state, from the stockup, is marked, just as fast as foliage indicates the house before it. But Barrow says that tyrants were surrounded by cypress on account of the foul odor of the burning pit, Srina, so that the circle of people standing around would not be offended. Elsewhere, Shirley specifies that a branch of cypress, most impressive, was placed in the vestibule of a house in a funerary state, lest anyone prepared to worship inadvertently enter and become polluted. And he remarked that cypress was appropriate to the temple of the Greek god Ceres, mother of Proserpina, Roman Persephone, semi-annual migration using the upper and lower to figure the agricultural cycle. Finally, Ceres in another longer note, which is too long for me to show you here, provides a pair of etymological myths to account for 2 versions of the association of the cypress with death. The first is more widespread, which explains the connection with mourning. Relates the story told by Ovid of Eucharistus, a boy beloved of Apollo, or in another version of Sylvanus, who accidentally kills his tame pet deer, leaps successively over the loss, and is transformed by the gods out of pity into a cypress, quote, a tree melted and consecrated to tears and grieving. The perpetual tears of Eucharistus partly lies in the fact that a mature cypress is used in droplets from his trunk. The second myth, which accounts for why a cypress branch severed from his trunk will not regenerate, such as the boy's Eucharistus increased, makes him the love interest of either Apollo or Zephyrus, and has included an outcast near the mouth of the Orontes River at the modern border between Syria and Turkey. He was transformed into a cypress tree in order to preserve his virginity. Elsewhere, Shirley himself has been born to the lost Eucharistus. Sylvanus carried constantly a sprig of cypress as a consolation for Slovakia. It's not immediately obvious how the second story explicates the failure of the cypress to spring to regenerate, which in turn serves to expose the purpose of such myths, to underwrite accepted truths about the natural world and to justify popular beliefs and practice. That is, the belief and practice came first and the myth was created around it, rather than the other way around. More telling, the 2 etiologies point to different functions that cypress serves in Roman mortuary ritual. One associated with grieving and mourning the loss, the state of the living from the transitional rite of passage that every funeral represents. The other myth was simulating death, the state of the corpse on its way to join the other ancestors in a collective afterlife among the divine spirits, the demonics. As a symbol of death, then, the cypress was bivalent, denoting different aspects of the contrasting needs of the living and the dead during the liminal period between death and final consignment to the grave. 2 other trees associated by the Romans with funerals are frequently paired together in ritual, and not only in funerary context. Pliny, in the version of his books devoted to trees, alludes to one aspect of their mutual association. After expounding his opinion that the custom of the Lord laurel branch being placed in the lap of the statue of Jupiter off the Maximus on the Capitoline Hill in Rome after a military victory is, quote, not because it is always green or never rotates, should the olive be referred to in both respects, but because it is dear to Apollo. After reporting that Pliny then dutifully reports the contrary opinion of the renowned Iberian jurist Mesurius Sabinus, that the laurel was used, quote, for the purposes of humiliation and purification from the blood of an enemy. And adds that, quote, it is so strongly forbidden to pollute the laurel and olive in profane uses that not even in propitiating the deities, Numina, should fires at altars and shrines be kindled with it. The professional diviner Artemidorus of Ephesus, sometime during the 2nd century, compiled from his travels and researches a manual of dream interpretation, provides the key to understanding why, though set apart together from other trees by Pliny, the olive and the laurel represented polar opposites in the way they were used during the burial rite. But the fruit-bearing trees, said Artemidorus, those that do not shed their leaves are better, with the exception of the olive and the laurel. For of these, the olive has been observed to be lethal with the sick, both the tree itself and its fruit and leaves, but the laurel is salubrious. And this is in fact fitting, for people bring out the dead together with laurel, but with olive matter, but never with laurel. Artemidorus supplies us with valuable insight into why the olive was used at the carrying out ceremony, a custom confirmed by literary references to women bearing olive branches during the cortege, because it presumed lethal effects on the sick. And he also notes that its salubrious properties were incompatible with carrying out the dead. But he does not indicate that the laurel had any role at all in the funerary rite. Since it is made clear by Terra entries in etymological dictionary of the 2nd century lexicographer Pomponius Festus about the purification rite that was by Mesurius Sabinus to explain the function of laurel in celebrating military victories. In an entry on the formulate Terra in Roman ritual context of fire and water, under the rubric Aqua et Igni, Festus explains that those who attend the funeral, upon returning, that is to the city from the extramural creation site, those upon returning to the city, use to be sprinkled with water and then walk over fire. This kind of purification they call Cividio. Elsewhere, at the bottom of the slide, Festus comments on why soldiers entering the city during a crime were crowned with laurel. So that they would enter the city purified, forgotten, as it were, from human blood. And so the same laurel was customarily used in all fumigations, Cividio means, either because the laurel is most desiccating as a poultice, a medicamentum, or because it is green at all times, and similarly to a public flourishes. Taken together, these two entries in Festus enable us to see that the laurel was used at the end of the burial rite as a purifying agent for the living upon their return to the community. As with the cypress, the reasons adduced for its role in funerary ritual are drawn from two distinct sources. One, pharmacological in the broadest sense, which that term applied in antiquity to anything viewed as having a medicinal use. The other, analogical or metaphorical, that is essentially symbolic, back in Rome from all. If the cypress was viewed as therapeutic for the bereaved and a symbolic consolation for the living on the one hand, and as analogically representing its failure to regenerate the permanent severing of the deceased from life on the other, the laurel, both pharmacologically and symbolically, looks to the living. And the desiccant, it dries and purifies, dries out the tears and purifies those returning from the funeral. And as a symbol, it reflects the ongoing vigor of the community of the race who will come. Much more can be said and much has been written about the associations of the laurel with victory, especially during and following the reign of Augustus. And indeed, in later funerary art, the laurel can appear along with other evergreens as symbolically suggesting victory over death and thus eternal life. But in the context of classical Roman funerary ritual, the associations of laurel are exclusively with the living and suggested not victory over death, but purification and vigor. We can perhaps now see more clearly than before that the three plants associated with the burial rite, cypress, olive, and laurel, all that may be noted as evergreens in technical terms, were employed with widely divergent significance in Roman funerals, and in ways that served to articulate the burial rite. Cypress was used to mark death from the moment of its acknowledgement in the house of the deceased up through the cremation on the pyre. We do not hear of its use in any similar fashion with inhumation burials that became the norm across the Western Empire after the middle of the 2nd century, but we cannot presume its absence from the silence of our sources. Nor, of course, can we presume its continued practice. We simply have no information one way or the other. On the other hand, we have no evidence from any period of cypress being used in the burial rite at any time after the cremation and the deposition of the corpse, from which we may conclude that its primary function ended with the cremation. Olive and laurel, by contrast, were each used in only one part of the rite and point in opposite directions, owing to their presumed pharmacological properties. Furthermore, it seems that proximity to the intended beneficiary of the medicinal effects was intended. Thus, the corpse is carried out on olive wood, and olive boughs are borne by the mourners closest to the deceased, metaphorically in kinship, and physically in the order of the funerary rites. And that is, the funerary cortege, those closest to relatives of the deceased were grouped closest to the coffin, to the dead itself, and those were the persons, the dead, and closest relatives associated with olive. Cypress was used to mark death from the moment of its acknowledgement in the house of the deceased up through the cremation on the pyre. By contrast, the laurel is used only for the living, and appears only at the stage of the ritual when the living are cleansed of the pollution of death and returns to the community. The rite of the Cividio returns those accompanying the corpse and burial to the status of the living, and reminds them of the ongoing vitality of the community of the living to which they belong. Thus, the absent from the Roman burial rite is any mention of flowers, the type of plant perhaps most commonly used in Roman life for perfumes and garlands and various ceremonial purposes. Appropriate for that stage of the funerary cult machines were evergreen trees, which, despite their diverse associations, shared the quality of consistency and duration. Flowers, particularly flower blossoms, ephemeral trees, belong to the more conceptual world of the generation of leaves in Roman tomb gardens with which we began. Two species in particular, roses and violets, though enjoying diverse roles and uses among the living, were regularly paired and evidently conceived of similarly in funerary contexts. For example, the Romans recognized two and only two festival days in their annual calendar that took their names from flowers. The Rosalia, sometimes called Rosaccio, or the Day of Roses, a movable celebration, evidently timed to coincide locally with the blossoming of roses at different dates in different parts of the territorial empire, according to climate, and the Violaria, or the Day of Violets, a much less well-attested festival, celebrated annually on or around the vernal equinox, March 22nd. And both days are marked as days when the living propitiated or tended the dead at grave sites. The Floralia festival, held annually on April 27th, in honor of the Roman goddess Flora, celebrated all flowers and the blossoming of spring in a general way. So, for example, the testamentary foundation inscription set up in Rome to provide for the upkeep of the tomb from the revenue from the market block provides for the heirs to celebrate the memory of their benefactor on 4 occasions during the year. On the day of his birth, I quote from the text, on the day of his birth, the day of the Rosario, and the day of the Violet, and the day of the Paritalia festival, which is held annually in February. Another foundation from the Veneto region of northern Italy specifies that From the return from it, that is a cash deposit of 4,000 sesterces, the heirs should bring flowers every year to the grave and food to be put there according to the established custom. No one to say goes where, of course, to them. There's a textual problem there. In fact, the crucial negative known has to be supplied from the context. The grammar won't work otherwise. This is a tiny imitation of which one may reasonably be suspect when it turns an entire statement on its head to say something the opposite of what the translated text conveys. But in this case, the restoration seems obvious from the context. Inscriptions make clear that the principal activity of both festivals, the Rosario and the Violaria, was embellishing the grave site with red or purple flowers. The details vary a bit. Some texts refer to strewing roses or rose petals across the grave. Others are simply placing roses on the grave site or decorating a headstone or monument. But the focus of attention is consistent. If the locus of the activity is clear, however, the specific intention behind the act is less obvious. Commentators since the Middle Ages have noted the color spectrum of the flowers, which encompasses the range of hues of human blood, seen as purple beneath the skin and bright red when brought to the surface. And a pair of passages in Virgil's Aeneid, bolstered, though hardly necessarily by Servius's commentary on, make clear that the relevance of the choice of flowers was their color, that the color was meant to denote blood, and that blood was thought to be the seed of the soul, or spirit, the ana, the very soul itself. In the first passage, which I'll let you read from the screen, I give you an indication on the top, a translation of the relevant passage of Virgil and below Servius's comments on. In the first passage, which seems to be the inadequate period of the second, Aeneas contemplates the grave of his father Anchises in Sicily. In the latter, Anchises himself in the underworld imagined one day increasing the soul of his descendant, Augustus' nephew, the recently deceased, when Virgil wrote, heir, apparent, and much more, Marcellus, with a gift of purple flowers. This helps us understand some of the direct associations. But as Richard Lattimore, in his highly regarded study, Themes in Greek and Latin Epitaphs, succinctly put it, we cannot really answer the question, what does it mean to spill wine or scatter flowers on the grave? There are too many answers. A way forward, I think, is offered by considering the broader network of mechanical associations with death, since it was the Roman strewing of roses and flowers is said. A network that begins with the conception of the generation of leaves and grows to incorporate a variety of myths and human sense metamorphosis, and a conceptual tradition, iconographic as well as literary, that invariably conceives of idyllic places such as the afterlife, as populated by fauna and flora together in symbiotic harmony at all times. And at times, as in the Cosmoria text on Autophagus, coalescing into one. That's when it turns into a song, vice versa. The key, although Lattimore didn't see it, lies precisely in the epitaph. A lengthy funerary poem erected outside Rome by imperial Greek for his beloved wife, sometime in the early years of the 1st century CE, articulates his prayers and thoughts. From the top passage, that I see a new flower grow from your grave, either on a green stem of amaranth with a rose-colored or purple flower, or the gleam of a violet, so that whatever traveler passes by, slowing his step, will look at these flowers, will read the inscription, and will say to himself, this flower is the body of Flavia Nicolas. Could be more direct. Another from Porphyria in the bottom passage, for a 2-year-old boy, is even more concise. Dear Liza Pottus, a noble child and beautiful, for whom I pray that his ashes become roses and violets, and that the earth which is now his mother be light for him, since he was a burden to no one while alive. Finally, what can we learn about actual practice of graving cremation sites from the emerging field of archaeobotany? The archaeological science of vegetable remains is not quite in its infancy in Roman studies, but it is only in the last 15 years or so that researchers have turned their attention to funerary context. The early studies had a necessity to focus on analytical description of the remains of individual sites, with little chance for comparative analysis. But recently, a few general trends have begun to emerge, and what appears to be a few distinctive practices in particular areas are beginning to come into view. French scholars have been particularly active in this area, and as a consequence, research thus far has tended to center on regions where they have traditionally worked. France itself, both northern and southern regions, Pompeii and the areas buried by Vesuvius, and Emilia Romagna in central Italy. Studies have focused on two areas of funerary behavior, cremation materials on the one hand, and grave site deposits and surface remains on the other. Or, more specifically, on fuel selection for pyres, and stuff in the street, and fruit and grain offerings at the grave. The first area, wood types, here just will show you some recent bibliography, engaging pictures of carbonized remains. The first area has received less attention, but pair studies of fuel wood selection in northern and southern Gaul have similarly concluded that, quote, a surprising variety, unquote, of both shrubby and arboreal woods, to quote from the earlier of the two studies, published in 2010, some 34 of these in the Languedoc region of southern France and more than 20 in northern Gaul, roughly the area of modern Belgium. A surprising variety were found indiscriminately in both primary and secondary deposit sites, in rural and town cemeteries, and wealthy and poorer cemeteries. No type of fuel wood seems to have been avoided, and no symbolic significance seems attached to the site's use. Instead, where comparative evidence from domestic refuse deposits is available for comparison, such as one early study from Pompeii that has been very influential in this, it appears that the harder woods that burn hotter were preferred for cremations, oak, alder, beech, and silver fir, which in the last case evidently derived not from local vegetation in northern France, but from reused wine barrels imported into the region. The consistent impression otherwise is that whatever woods were locally available were used indiscriminately for both domestic and cremation fires. If we turn to the evidence from grave sites, a similar picture of eclecticism emerges. A wide variety of vegetable offerings is characteristic of every region, with local fruits dominating the assemblages locally. It turns out to be more difficult than expected to distinguish by coprological or pollen analysis which remains derived from surface collection and which were deposited in a grave. So we cannot always determine whether a particular sample originated with a burial, with one of the regular commemorative occasions when Romans assumed or offered foods at grave sites, or other possible strange sources. That said, among the fruits most commonly found in all the regions studied are grapes and figs, which predominate at Pompeii, dates, apples, peaches, and a variety of nuts, walnuts, pine nuts, and hazelnuts. Second in quantity and variety to the fruits are cereals, both unprocessed and prepared into foodstuffs, barley, naked wheats, occasionally hammer, and pine corn. And finally, pulses and legumes, lentils, fava beans, cheese, and lupins. From this wealth of data, few conclusions can be drawn about particular practices, but the dominance of carbonized prepared foods, bread and pastry especially, in regions of France along the Rhine and Rhone, in contrast to sites from central France and further north, points to an axis of Romanization along the Rhine, Rhone, and corridor that distinguishes that region from less Romanized areas of Gaul. So it looks very much as if the practice of placing pastries and breads on fire in Rome first appears in France, where the Romans first appear, and much later only in less Roman zones. And at Pompeii, I refer to the last item on the screen, where the most detailed investigation that undertaken of a particular Roman burial tomb enclosure, that of the prominent local family of the Missoni in the Port of Acropolis, and for the first time suggested the Roman era sites in the type of granular analysis more often conducted on hiring variables. Two observations about this site raise intriguing questions which we cannot yet begin to answer. First, in contrast to fruits and cereals, of which a bunch of carbonized remains indicate their use as fresh offerings on pyres, none of the nut fragments showed any signs of carbonization. Evidently, the nuts were always consumed and were never offered fresh to the dead. Why? Even more puzzling, vegetable remains are almost entirely absent from the grave sites of the two founders of the monument, the three Publius Bessonius and his patron Bassonia. Why? We cannot yet answer these questions, but we're beginning to put together a combination of literary, archaeobotanical, epigraphic, and iconographic evidence that may one day help us to make sense of the Roman funerary rite in all its manifold complexity. We may at least hope with some optimism that further investigation of the mix of vegetable remains associated with Roman graves and party sites yield if not more secure answers, at least more interesting questions about the peculiar set of Roman practices that I loosely characterize today as the body of death. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad to see so many colleagues and so many students here this evening. We have even many more people present this evening, individual people who are following us online, prospective students who have the opportunity today to see one of our events, and I think that the setting of tonight's maybe giving a very good impression of the quality of research undertaken at our department. My name is Matthias Schultz, introduce me to those who don't know yet. Let me just say a few words for those who have been many of the seminars before, but I think 90 development research in our city. First of all, get your post that we present research undertaken at our department. So don't invite people from outside, but we introduce to each other the work that we are going to very often not in the academic departments, but try to this year. And the second thing is that we also want to give insight into working programs. So the idea is that don't give lectures to really finish and ready for communication, but also allow the presenters to raise methodological issues, to raise theoretic issues to students they are basically doing research. A third point is that this seminar is completely organized by students, so I'm actually no influence tonight on topics or on the choice of the speakers, but some of the students who organize the seminars, of course, also came from experience in organizing and setting events. And last but not least, 10 years also socialized here, so that we also over the rank of the world and continue talking and have some opportunity for informal socializing outside the council. Let me remind those prospective students who are following us online that tomorrow we will have a workshop in the afternoon, a webinar that will answer your questions and that will give advice for outright proposals and applications. And don't forget to present for your applications. That's very interesting. The ambition of this company to get this message through, so that's something right. And without any further comments, I will give to one of our student organizers on the Chicago Board.
Yeah, so since June we have a faculty audience one membership community, so that's what I do with our lecturer, Professor Adit Al-Asleh. We have been teaching at the department in 2002, and he has received a PhD in Oriental Studies from the University of Oxford, and he has been a long-term fellow at the Institute for Ethno Study in Berlin. He had a colleague for Ethno Study under the College of Letters, and was also editor for the Rockefeller Foundation Center for Scholarship in Belgium. And he has a very extensive teaching experience, majority but also from the University of Exeter, from the American University of Peru, and Columbia University, the University of California, Berkeley, and also he has published extensively in the business book in the International Islamic League and the by Cambridge University Press. So we are very welcome to listen to this book, and also encourage to question and to comment in the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, you're my core yes, the book. Thank you very much, and thank you very much all of you for turning up this evening. It's a wonderful time. I'm appreciating all the things. I'm sure the button is speaks I am. Now, this is a very happy segment. I'm going to according to this time, intended to present work in progress, which is precisely what I intend to do. This is work on the history of the city. I'll have some history elements, and it's something, it's a topic that has been occupied me on and off in a variety of ways, from a variety of directions. Two of the figures that whose names will occur later today have belonged to the group I devoted some attention. I published in Arabic anthologies of their writings, of their two writings, not either. I won't be the names of them up with, but they have more into that. It's for those who don't know them, if you want. And it is actually designed for a book, which has been commissioned by a publisher, and the work is so advanced that